And we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Global Citizens. My name is Calvin. I am this show's host, and I am also its creator. So, in case you guys have been following me, or this is your first time watching the show, Global Citizens is a live stream whereby I invited people who have experienced multicultural lifestyles. So basically, like myself, I'm an Indonesian Chinese, but I grew up in Singapore most of my life, and I returned back to Indonesia around 2 years back. So there is a lot of times whereby I endure or I must put up with systems that is not common or is something that may seem a little bit outdated is because of cultural differences. So the main purpose of this show is to actually promote intercultural studies and also advocating third culture kids. So yes, my guest for today is Mr. Stephanus of BISA, which is actually short for Business Indonesia Singapore Association. So he is the founder and director of this organization, which was officially established in 2012. The organization's main focus is to assist business matching between Indonesia and overseas through Singapore as the hub, through many international and local business networking events, seminars, coffee meetings, business trips, and etc. So, without further ado, I will pass the platform back to Mr. Stephanus to introduce himself. So, how are you, sir? Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, thank you, Calvin. It is my honor to accept your invitation to share a little bit about my entrepreneurship journey.
Yep.
Hi, everyone. Sorry. My name Stephanus. Just now, Calvin already mentioned. Originally, I'm from Bandung. Bandung is small city in Indonesia, in West Java. I came to Singapore 2008. My background actually as an educator. I spent 11 years in Bandung City as a educator, lecturer from primary school, junior college, senior high school until the lecturer. Very interesting when I came to Singapore 2008. I couldn't speak English. I don't have friends. I starting from the scratch. Back 2000, actually the BISA starting from 2009, originally as a business networking. The first thinking why I introduced the BISA because in the past I came to Singapore just to because follow my wife. Actually follow my wife coming from Bandung to Singapore 2008, and after that starting working as the first working, like very early days, just starting from the middle term. After that, go back to the entrepreneurship. The reason why I came because we know as Indonesian, I think just now Calvin also know, a lot of people in Singapore thinking Indonesian. Oh, you are Indonesian. You are very connectable. We can sell some of the services, insurance, property, investment. So I in the past I just okay. In the beginning, I just only selling the trading because I'm from Bandung. I sell textile and marble in the past in Singapore. But after that, yeah, we know a lot of demand in Singapore about Indonesia. Singaporean usually know Indonesian only in Bali or in Batam, little bit Jakarta.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
this is the
Jakarta.
beginning and the
I'm again from
introduction.
Jakarta. Okay. All right. So my very first question is this though. I just want to assess your mindset and principles because you transition yourself from an educator, then you become an entrepreneur, right?
Yes,
So my
correct.
first question is this: which one do you think is much more important in either business or in life? Is money or kindness? Which one do you think is more important? when doing
Okay.
either one of them?
To be honest, when starting the business from when I'm still young, now also considerable young.
Yeah,
When
yeah. Age is
30
just a
plus,
number. Age is just a number until legal matter come into place. Yes.
of course, as an educator, the beginning, the important thing is learning, and how I want to learn something new, especially in the country like Singapore. But concurrently, after my age growing, money is not number one. Of course, in the beginning, everything must money oriented, profit. But as an educator, transform to the entrepreneurship, I realize the important thing is the how we value our journey, our entrepreneurship, because entrepreneurship not like A plus B to be something. In entrepreneurship, sometimes I learn how we value the human, the life more than the money or the profit. Of course, after growing 40 plus, now I already 40 45. My value for the life is more important, especially during the pandemic like this. Within 6 or 7 months semi lockdown, I just realized this is the time to me to value the entrepreneurship journey, not only as educator but also transform to the entrepreneurship. I think important thing is to gradually create something new in the life, so you still alive, you still have a spirit how to progress to facing in the next year. I think this one.
Okay. So, do you mind telling us like how you started BISA when you first created it? You mentioned earlier, unofficially the business started in 2009. Then officially it's 2012, right?
Correct.
And also, what do you hope to accomplish from BISA? Because now, like what you mentioned earlier, a lot of business or even how we do things nowadays. Last time, if you wear a hat and you wear a mask, people thought you're a terrorist. But now you have to wear that all
Yeah.
the time. Yeah, there was a time when I was in the airport. I see everybody was wearing it. It's like, huh, okay. So if this is a SMRT commercial, they need to change how the people look like.
Yeah.
So yes, so now everything looks very different, and a lot of business it may not be well, may be considered obsolete moving forward because nowadays people realize technology is actually very important. I mean, I can
Correct.
even find out this interview is through online, which is by
Yes.
using
Correct.
my software StreamYard. So
Yeah.
yeah, what do you mind telling us about this? Like how you started Visa and how you hope what kind of business do you see moving forward?
Yeah. I think in my experience from back 2009, uh, when I starting to sell something in Singapore from Bandung at that past, I do create a trading business. We representing Bandung business from like marble, textile. I I do canvassing, go to everywhere in Singapore, go to the several place in meeting people, connecting. But when we sell something to the in Singapore, I realize because Singapore is a small country, though they have a lot of business networking in Singapore. If you can in the time, if you want to go to like like a Chinese community, Indian community, Malay community in Singapore, when we talk with them, oh, I have a certain product from Indonesia. Unfortunately, in Singapore, most of them they sell services. Oh, Stephanus, I have these services, medical, investment. So after that, when I see the difference between Singapore and Indonesia, when they come to here, usually they have three level. One is they come here as a worker, or they come here, they small medium enterprise, and the other also the big one. The big one usually the second generation. They come here studying, after studying in Singapore, and they contact me, Stephanus, can you help to set up business? So when I saw the two different two different interests. The first one in Singapore, they want to sell something to overseas, especially Indonesia market. The other from Indonesia, they want to go expand the business through Singapore. Because in the world now, especially if you from Indonesia, they're thinking, okay, I want to grow my business, go to the Southeast Asia, Singapore. If they want to grow to China, they go to Hong Kong. So Singapore is the place is very fast moving forward, especially for the business hub. When I realized that, so I create a business networking. Instead, I just sell. Instead I go one by one, and within 1 month, especially, I will meet up with the same person. Oh, I meet up with the Calvin again in the next business networking. I meet up with Mr. A, Mr. So I know the ground. After that, I changed the business model. My business model, the first time is I create a networking, especially for Indonesia in Singapore. Like, I create with a certain area in. So we move around from Orchard, Tanjung Pagar, from hotel to hotel, from restaurant to restaurant. Because when I saw in Singapore, we have around 200,000 Indonesian living here. Most of them from businessmen, from domestic worker, from housewife. So I want to connect in the beginning. The beginning is just to connect people. So we create a BISA. BISA in Indonesia meaning BISA. Yes, we can. Because I admire one person, Obama, when he running as a presidential in US at that time.
Yeah, he was selected in presidency in 2008. Yeah, I remember that.
He's the black president in United States, I think. And the jargon at that time is the yes, we can. So immediately I'm thinking, okay lah, we can create Indonesia slang, BISA, like that in the beginning.
Okay, yeah. What industry though do you feel is most important moving forward? Because I recently saw one of your Instagram posts. It is for startup, right? It's for tech related.
Correct.
So what do you think is most important in the industries moving forward?
Okay. Interesting. When I live in Singapore from 2008 until now, I realized, especially in a lot of SME startup, they contact me, Stephanus, I want to expand my business to overseas through Singapore. I'm looking investor. I'm looking a business partner. This is one side from Indonesia. They want to expand to the overseas through Singapore. The other area, I also realized a lot of community in Singapore, especially for Indonesian community, most of the activities is the musical or concert, drama musical, drama.
Yep.
From if you see in Singapore, when I realized a lot of university in Singapore, especially for Indonesian community, a lot there, like Pinus, Pintu, Insim, Apia, whatever community, they send proposal to me, Stephanus, can you be a sponsor for our drama musical and something like that. But it's still lack of the entrepreneurship event, like like a startup event or how people to be entrepreneur. Because when this coming from my experience as educator in Indonesia at that time, I a teacher, I head of the a lot of student activity. if you know about OSIS, Pramuka, or Scots Boy, or
The
Intra,
equivalent is prefects. The equivalent is a
yeah,
prefect or student
like
counselor. I was one
like
actually.
student counselor like that. Yeah,
I was,
in Indonesia at that time is very common. People create some entrepreneurship because I realized Indonesia entrepreneurship is quite lacking compared with Singapore. Singapore, most of the people they have you know the opportunity to be entrepreneur. In Indonesia, most of them at that time, oh, they want to be a doctor. You know, when you talk with Indonesian in the past, what do you want? I want to be a doctor or a policeman or you know,
yeah, I
very,
know how
very
hard it is. I remember it. The problem is that if you are there as maybe you're from your time as a student, then you want to start up your own business as an adult. You don't have money for, I don't know, maybe if by luck lah, just 1 year. But the
yes,
problem
yes,
is that you need to pay your rent. You don't know how
yes,
to pay
correct.
rent, then there's no use. You cannot chase your entrepreneurship. So in
Yes,
the end, you work. Then maybe you try to set up some business online, but last
yeah,
time there wasn't a platform for it. And
yeah,
second, even now you have the time, you cannot focus completely on the business. So yeah, I can remember that clearly well because I was also part of a startup which sadly failed after 3 months. So that one was really difficult because yeah, there was no
correct.
money in, then you cannot
Yes.
pay your rent and etc. So I know how you feel on that. Yeah.
Mm.
Sorry, Mr. Stephanus. Yeah. Is there anything else you want to add to that?
Yeah, I agree with you because in Singapore is one of the expensive place you live. You know, at that price we can still buy certain food with only $2, $3. But now I think most of the one-time meal actually $5 until $15 usually in this. And as a student is difficult.
$6. Unless you tell me you work in a school. The school still have quite some cheap food. I remember
Yeah,
because I was stationed there once.
yeah, yeah. So when I see when I saw the you know the difference between in Indonesian community in Singapore and also in Indonesia, they want to come. So I come out with the idea. Okay, we create the showcase for the startup. So from 2015 yearly, I create with some of the Indonesian diaspora in Singapore. So we create a showcase, startup showcase every year. So after that, to be a annual meeting, annual event. But unfortunately, this year because the COVID, we come out with the idea how we create online, you know, inside online.
Yeah,
So
the
this
virtual
one,
style. The virtual style. Yeah, that's something that I'm
correct.
looking forward to see also. Okay. How important do you think though is your network in your entrepreneurship journey? And also, right, because a lot of time when you network with people, people thought you cannot immediately just want to discuss money
Yeah,
because well, there's no way it will work, right? But
yeah,
the thing is, after a while, how you know when is it time to turn your money, your network into your network? How you turn it
yeah,
is because after a while you thought it's just friends, friends, friends. Okay, how can I turn this into
yeah,
opportunity for business or for me to
yeah,
make some money? Because I
yeah.
cannot survive with kindness, right? So
Correct.
yeah, Mr. Stephanus.
Yeah. In Singapore, because I will put your question in the context because I'm based in Singapore, I connect with a certain culture, especially Indonesian culture. In Singapore, you must very fast. You talk this very short and very straight. But talking about Indonesia businessman not based on the okay, this is my price, this is my fee, this is my service. You like it or you don't like it. Indonesian
No, they
businessman
don't
will
like
be
it. They
run.
don't like it. They very long one. They take very long one.
They very a lot of relationship based. Oh, I want to know Calvin. Oh, Calvin from where? From Jakarta. Oh, after that we talk about Jakarta. After that, when we go to Jakarta, we don't talk about business. Calvin will invite me go to the, let's say, the wedding friend, or go to the, the family gathering or neighborhood. Usually Singapore, in when I bring business from Singapore to Indonesia, they not have a certain passion, they want to fast. Oh, Stephanus, I already three times go to Jakarta, but the business is not there. Why? So after that, I must give some culture, network education. In the same time, for Indonesia, they come here also. Stephanus, I want to do business in Singapore. Can I open the bank account with the beauty number, nomor cantik? Cannot in Singapore. They want to very creative in Indonesia, but in Singapore you must do the rule from A to B to C. You cannot do from the, and the difference between the entrepreneurship in Singapore and Indonesia is different. In Singapore, they very targeted. Okay,
Yeah,
if they
correct.
come to me, Stephanus, I want to do business in Bandung with this type of the business, and the culture or the size of the company I must do. I'm very targeted. But for Indonesia, come here usually, Pak, what do you want to do business? Anything. They said anything, whatever. They want to see around. After that, they want to do. The mentality is totally one-stop solution. When they know Calvin or they know me, they will asking about not only the business. Stephanus, where the travel, the cheapest travel from Jakarta to Singapore. So I will be a travel consultant. So sometimes they contact me, Stephanus, I want to buy iPhone 5, iPhone, the new iPhone, latest iPhone. Can you
Now
buy
it's iPhone 15, I think. Is
iPhone
it
15?
15? Is it 15?
Yeah,
I think it's
last
15.
week,
Uh,
yeah, last week I have a inquiry from my client. Stephanus, can you buy Shimano bicycle in Singapore? Or spare part or Brompton? So in Singapore, usually they don't entertain like this in Singapore. But as an Indonesian, I can understand them. So my role is to be a bridging as an aggregator. For Singapore company, I follow what is the Singapore rule, because you must do you base in here, you must follow what Singapore standard. But for Indonesia side, I understand they want to do a business using the relationship. They want to know me, they want to know my family, they want to know what your activity before you do business. It still takes time, but when you already have a trust from there, they will contact you. Anything. They will talk about the whatever they business. After you already have a relationship. This is my experience. I think Calvin also know the Indonesian.
yeah,
uh,
this is how the show was created. This is how the show was created.
yeah,
I've shared this on the show several times, but I will never stop sharing it because this is something that I still stick to my mind. So
yeah.
I think my first 2 months coming back from Singapore to Jakarta, I
Mm.
took my first ever go-kart ride. I booked my first go-kart ride. So within 5 minutes, within
Yeah.
5 minutes, the driver already asked me, "Hi, how are you? Have you eaten? Where are you from? Are you married?" I'm like, "Huh? Huh? Hey, my own mother doesn't even ask me this kind of question. Who
Yeah.
are you to ask me? You are a random stranger." Of course,
Yes.
I think in Indo we call it basa basi,
Bahasa
or
basi.
in Singapore in English let's call it coffee talk. Yeah, but the
Coffee
thing
talk.
is that this is how the difference the custom is because in Singapore maybe on rare occasions you can speak with the person who is driving you around, but it's still just within a casual conversation. Maybe just to ask how your day is, what what road you want to take, which is still fine. However, in Indo, some random stranger asks you is like some more questions than your own mother, then you're like, ah, are you serious? Who are you? And it can
Yeah,
be quite intrusive, but of course, this is the difference in custom. Oh, yes.
yeah.
While we are at this subject, yeah. So, do you ever experience failure? Because, of course, when you first started doing this, you don't understand how is it, what is it going on. Then in Singapore, it's not only one Chinese customs. There's actually four races
Yeah,
indirectly in Singapore. There's actually a lot more, but there's four that's recognized as official, like Indians, Malay, and even the Caucasians community in Singapore. So when you first notice how different it is there any time that you actually need to reset your mindset to rework everything again? You need to unlearn what you know from your time in Indonesia, and then to Singapore, you need to adjust it back. So yeah, Mr. Stephanus?
yeah. I think failure is a part of the entrepreneurship journey for everyone who jump to the entrepreneurship. You must have in the certain time you will be experience how to be a lonely wolf, in the entrepreneurship. And certain failure I experienced in the past because the lack of the experience at the in the beginning. I'm not I because I came to the entrepreneurship is almost no mentor. I come as an educator, come here, not like, a lot of people come to Singapore, they work or they study. Or for me, I came here because the meet up with the my girlfriend, and after that to be my wife. um, she based in Bandung actually, and she studied in US, and after that she worked in Singapore. And when she go back to Bandung, meet up with me, and after meet up with me, she invite me come to Singapore, and I also agreed to come to here. So as an educator without knowledge in living in overseas, I jump to the country like Singapore is very international, international business connector, because Singapore is the trading hub. A lot of people from China, from Indonesia, from India, from European, from Australia, or from US, if they want to do business in the Southeast Asia, one the place they come here. So when I come here, the first failure actually the lack of confidence, especially language barrier in the past, communication, the culture, and the mentorship. I don't have mentor in the beginning, but when I very thankful, because my family in Indonesia, especially from Bandung, they support me. Stephanus looks me as your uncle. I already 70 years old, still doing business, still have a spirit. You still young, you no problem. You have a failure is okay. So a lot of support from the family, especially from my wife and from the family, to support me when I have a certain failure. The biggest failure actually, yeah, when we invest to certain business, we very eager to do business this one, but after we realize, is fail. Sometimes I choose the wrong partner. In the beginning is very promising, but after 1 or 2 years we know it's not a right partner. So we the second is the choose the wrong partner. The third is sometimes the lack of motivation in doing the entrepreneurship, because we must grow, we must change the how to make a company growing. So sometimes we have a failure because the lack of the motivation. So I'm very fortunate because I have a community in Singapore, from the church community, from the Indonesian community in Singapore, and from the family in Indonesia and Singapore. We have a support, and the important thing is, when you realize uh, what you do impact to other people. This one will be like a shining. I have a good spirit again after I know certain people. Oh, Stephanus, thank you. You connecting me with this, and you connecting me with you. So it is the relief to me. Oh, this something I enjoy and experience. Instead, we just set to the failure, but I also embrace some success or some promising entrepreneurship journey. In my experience, actually, is very very interesting, because I can in the past I can have experience to travel before the COVID-19 lah. I think traveling is around 20 or 30 city in Indonesia. I go to Manado, Bandung, Surabaya, Medan, Solo, Semarang, because the entrepreneurship journey. If I only thinking about the educator or just working in Singapore, I don't think I don't have any this rich experience. I learn, even though we are Indonesian, but dealing business with Surabaya people is different with dealing business with Jakarta people. Dealing business with Medanese people or Bandung people or Makassar people, also certain culture we must also embrace. Is the important thing is to understand about the culture. I think this the thing. And the other thing also I'm experienced when I come to Indonesia, when I give our name card, I'm from Singapore. Wow, this one more atas, actually more valuable. Even though I'm from Bandung in the beginning, if I talk, oh, I'm from Bandung, they talk, you are from Bandung, the same. But when they said I'm based in Singapore, suddenly they have a lot of questions. Oh, Stephanus, can you help us to looking for this, looking for that? Because I based in here as a diaspora lah, basically. Yeah. Indonesian people like go to to see overseas people. They think overseas people is more, especially from we call this angmo, bule. Oh, bule from US or from, they will admire them. Kelvin, your sound, you can hear my sound? I think your sound is okay. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Oh,
Can.
okay. Sorry, I think I accidentally pushed one of my cable. Sorry about that.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Now, okay, earlier we mentioned on cultural differences, right? What do you advise for an entrepreneur now who want to enter Indonesian or Singaporean market? Because the thing is that every country has different culture, and for them is because, well, this is what I grow up with, or this is how I started business with, so it worked. Then now I want to expand to a new country, and I want the same style of work. I want a quick success, because it's very common. I mean, I recall last time I worked for a company that want to start a business in the middle of October, in which in Singapore, it's the time where everybody start taking leave and MCs and bonuses time, so nobody will be there. But the thing is that he insisted he want to start a business here, because back from where he started it, there's no such thing. So we just have to continue the business with the way I started. And of course, if he's the boss, we cannot say, oh, we don't want to. We can recommend not to do it, but at the end of the day, he's still the one who makes the final decision. So yeah, Mr. Stephanus?
Okay, in the context of Singapore and Indonesia, actually, in Singapore, you can do business is very, in the beginning is very fast. You open company just, I think within 1 hour, you can open company here.
Right.
So basically, whatever business, Singapore is welcome. But once you don't, if you fail, not fail, if once you break the law, this is your problem in Singapore. Let's say you want to sell some products, you set up company here is easy, but after you running the business, you sell illegal or you don't follow the rule, is your problem in Singapore. But in Indonesia, when you open the company, it's not, I think, must a lot of regulation in the past. In the past.
So long.
Yeah, you go to the, especially if you are foreigner, you must set up foreign investment is quite difficult. Go to the certain region, different rule, certain, so a lot of things, central and decentralization. So, from the Jakarta business people, you open company, it doesn't work in Surabaya. You must follow the rule in other city. This one thing, the challenge. The second is because now we coming to the new era, like, after pandemic. If you're talking about 7 months ago, people do business, they still prefer meet up in the COVID time. Stephanus, since from Jakarta to Singapore only 15 minutes, 1.5, at least 1 hour, 15 minutes.
1.5 hours. If you don't count this delay or
2 hours, 3 hours. They come in early from Jakarta to Singapore in the morning and meeting in the night. They go back to Indonesia. It's the same also from Singapore. You sell insurance, property, whatever investment. They come in the first flight and come back in the night, or you spend 1 day or 2 days. In the past is they want to meet up offline, but now if last time 7 months ago we can create communication by online, they don't want. They still prefer meet up, but now no choice. We can using the technology, StreamYard, Zoom, whatever, Instagram. So this the challenge number 2, because social distancing, physical distancing, and number 3 is the how your business is balanced, not only offline but also online. During the pandemic like this, I create website. I writing some article. I connect with the business partner, not only in Singapore, not only in Indonesia, is from Europe, from US, from Africa, from China, is even more connected because online. So the different before COVID-19 and after COVID-19 is totally changed. If my business only depend of the offline business, is for sure I will go back to Indonesia, because in here, in Singapore is the service based. A lot of my friend already, Stephanus, I must go back to Indonesia because in here they already have a certain retrenchment or they cannot survive. And very, very fortunate for me, because my business not only offline but also online. So I leveraging in the online business. I also helping Indonesian companies. They come here. They still based in Indonesia, but they have a company here. They can they can have a bank account in Singapore, they can do business here, and they still connected. But the challenge in the future, especially now, is October, right? November,
Yeah.
not November.
It's gonna
November,
be November by tomorrow. Yeah.
tomorrow, yeah, November. We already almost end of the year, and if we can survive within this year is already blessing in the business, because now a lot of people especially have a money, but during the COVID-19 they suffer a lot.
Yes.
The thing is, as a business people, we must see the opportunity. Of course, now is the crisis time, but during the crisis we see a lot of opportunity. We must change ourselves, not only in the business, but also the mindset, the changing people, the changing spirit
Yeah.
is important. This for me lah, for me in Singapore, combination between online and offline is important.
Okay. This is I actually have two final questions for you. The first of the two is this: what character do you actually look for when you are mentoring somebody? Because a lot of times with your experience now, and as you mentioned with BISA, now it's actually you are just the man in charge. It's actually run by a group of people that you train. A bunch of them would, I think, maybe around my age. So yeah, what character do you look for, and also how can you actually learn? Because uh, as you mentioned earlier, your age, and of course, these youngsters also have a different mindset because they grow up in two different eras with you. So how do you balance that up?
Yeah, it's a very good question. Now I manage around 4 business, different types of the age. Certain business, I have a business to the just serving the colonial people already 40 plus. So
Yeah.
when I talk with them, usually we talk with the adults. But for the other business, I lies with the millennial. They the first thing I admire them, I choose them because you know the spirit young people to acknowledge by them, because most of them they come to here to Singapore, they study here. After they study, when I interview them, Stephanus, but I have a company in Indonesia, family business. When they come here, they study, I recruit them to be part of the team, not because they back the family, but I value them because the integrity. The second is I share my experience. If you want to looking for a job in Singapore, it's very difficult. But how you create a job? Now is online timing. I cannot do online because I'm a colonial, already 40 plus. So you as a young people, I choose them because the integrity, they want to learn. And after that, I give a real projects. I give a real projects, must have a fun. And the third is you must have a fun. You must enjoy what you do. Because as a young people, failure or is still young. They still have a lot of time to to grow, not like in the adult people. They have a lot of risks if they want to put something, like a family, career, whatever. But for young people, still have a lot. Most of them is I choose because the integrity and uh, the spirit of they want to do something good. And of course the language, the language communication, communication skill also I need, because most in my era the communication is meeting people one to one, but now it's online. Meeting people must online. IT savvy, they must have a knowledge using the computer, create internet marketing, digital, everything digital. This is the thing.
Yeah, and also watch my show, guys, if you all want to learn more about all this area that Mr. Stephanus actually mentioned, because that is the main purpose of this show. Okay, I
And
actually
the last time,
yeah.
I believe working must have a smart, not only smart but do hard. People thinking, okay, smart doing, not hard doing. Actually, you must do smart, but you must do hard. In the business, you cannot do smart but lazy, smart but what is your difference with others? I challenge the young people. A lot of people after graduates, they're looking for a job, but certain companies, especially in Singapore, they want to hire people, but the small medium enterprise cannot afford, because the salary is growing increase now. The employment pass is
Yeah,
around
$4,000.
plus. Yeah, is quite difficult to small medium enterprise to cover as the increase of the company of the rate.
Yeah, I remember that because last time I think the starting salary was around 2,000, right? Now it's already double, yeah, like what you said.
Yeah.
Okay, I actually have one final question for you. Okay, with BISA and like like all the people that you mentor, what do you hope to accomplish? Maybe let's say in around 10 years time, in terms of value. Maybe it can be for Singapore, it can be for Indonesia, or maybe if let's say you want to expand your business again, what do you hope to accomplish from BISA? Because one area that I know you are passionate about is education. So yeah, Mr. Stephanus?
Yeah. Actually, one of the area I want to achieve is I want to build a small education center in my home in Indonesia. And now actually, my brother running the small to manage my home in Bandung, to be a cafe. So we have a small cafe in Bandung, and most of my family is still working. So I want to create like education center in Bandung to embrace or to give some knowledge, and for the a lot of neighborhood area in my home in Bandung. And using the online presence like this now, slowly now already in the planning. Hopefully next year we can we can have a one center. But starting now, we already running certain changing the mindset and the business, especially to change the mindset in the local Indonesian is very difficult, because they talk, okay, we call this Indonesian people is like a in the past they plant something, they will grow. In the past we call they have a certain song, one song, Indonesia is like uh, you throw anything, they can grow. But in the modern era like this, global era like this, I want to create the business not only serve in the local but serve as a global. We live in the in the era of collaboration. We live in the era of the even we are different from different perspective, different religion, different race, different ethnic, but we live in the era is a humanity. Like COVID-19 like this is the chance to us, the time to us to reflect ourselves as a business people. How we live. Whatever you do affect to other people. Whatever happening in Singapore will be heard in Indonesia. Whatever happening in Europe, within 1 second, we know in the internet era. So if we think about this kind of the situation, the business in the future for me, I want to do business is impact to other people, not only to myself. I'm very fortunate now already, enjoy what we did after 10 years now. Yeah, this my thing lah. Create education center next year.
Okay. Okay, I already said it's going to be my last question, but because you brought up a very interesting point, yeah. So, how do you think though, in Indonesia, you can implement the mindset of a developed country like in Singapore? Because, like what you said earlier, because they expected that in Indonesia, because there is such a big population, there's such a big resources, people thought, oh, any business we can do, confirm we will profit. But nowadays, it's no longer this way. One of my past guests, a good friend of mine, who is actually proposing something called digital nomad visa to allow people from overseas to invest in Indonesia, even with a minimum income. Even now, in order to get permission for that scheme to run, it's nowhere near the word closed, and it is something that will be beneficial to the country. But now, even then, they realize now is that something that even can help the country, they are not willing to put in that much effort. How about yourself, Mr. Stephanus? How do you think that this kind of knowledge that is developed from a developed country in Singapore, whereby people do not worry about your basa-basi or even a sense of empathy to be implemented, is something that is very second fiddle to actually succeeding in business?
Yeah. Thanks for the question. Actually, for me as an Indonesian, I hope the Indonesian businessman not only thinking locally. In the past, I realized a lot of businessmen, especially in Indonesia. Oh, Stephanus, I already have a lot of cafe in Bandung. I already have a factory in Jakarta. I have a lot of business in Indonesia. But you realize our neighborhood like China, even China more big from Indonesia, but they exist in Africa, they exist in Europe, they exist in Australia. We as an Indonesian, we must think globally, act locally. This is one thing. The second is we must serve the world. One of the leader in the world now is Jack Ma. You know Jack Ma? Jack Ma create Alibaba.
Yep.
Actually, the idea coming from US. When he came to US, he see a lot of eBay or something. So Alibaba, Jack Ma didn't use Chinese name. They're using Arabic name, Alibaba. But Jack Ma create Alibaba to serve the world. So this is why the timing, he bring a lot of idea. He inspire a lot of people. I also wants to embrace the Indonesian businessmen, especially. Don't focus only the human, the land resources. We call this migas, yeah, oil and gas. Now the era of the talent, human people, human capital. Singapore now is the face of the human capital era, because the country is small, population is small.
No natural resource.
Yeah,
Also.
you must have a survival mode.
Yeah,
You
this is
must
something that
learn.
is taught since
Yeah,
primary school.
correct.
I know this very well. I remember
Correct.
this very
It's
well.
true. Even do you base in Singapore, you can sell to US, you can sell to China, you can sell to. So usually in Singapore they have 2 or 3 languages. Most of my friends Singaporean, they always have at least 2 languages, Chinese or Malay or English, especially English. But most of Indonesian, they usually they play in local. But now is the young in the new era is a lot of diaspora, Indonesia diaspora in overseas. They want to contribute to Indonesia. You don't need to go back to Indonesia, because when you go back to Indonesia, you will be a lot of certain
Yeah, you will have a lot of
yeah,
headache. I experiencing now. I am experiencing it now. 2 years already.
3 years.
It's not easy. It's very
Culture
tiring.
shock and the different is because not ready. When you come, not ready. But now the internet era, you still have a contribution in overseas or whatever you base. You base in Australia, you base in US, you base in China, whatever in Singapore. But you still contribute to the country, to Indonesian, because the connection, the internet connection, the timing is time, is the global society. I like your tagline, global citizen, global CKtizens. I like.
Yeah, I will explain. I will share it somewhat. I will explain it to you later why it's named that way. This is actually all the time we have. Okay, so first off, I need to thank Mr. Stephanus for actually making the time for today, because I know he's a really busy person. So thank you so much for your time for today. I also need to thank some of these individuals who actually live a life. So Miss Regina Wanling and Mr. Puji, and there's also Miss Christina. Miss Christina, one of my past guests who actually live a life during the announcement. However, she's unable to watch it directly, and I think she will be watching the replay. The reason being is due to the different time zone. So yeah, Mr. Stephanus, anything else you want to mention? I believe today is the registration day for your event on your online event. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, thank you for Kelvin to invite me once again, and all your follower or your fans. Now I see your episodes now. I'm very fortunate in the number 70. Yeah. Hopefully you
I do
have
it
a
on
lot of,
purpose. I do it on purpose.
in the future. Yeah, in the future you have a lot of connection. You have a lot of success, especially how as an Indonesian we contribute the country, not only the big way, but just show what we can do. Yes, we can. BISA, what you do, enjoy, and the fortunate will be coming after you plant all the seed now. Thank you very much.
Welcome. Okay, and this is the end of Global Citizens, episode 70, conversation with an Indonesian-Singapore business connector. So, if you want to reach out to Mr. Stephanus, his LinkedIn and etc. is already in my description box. And also do check out his Instagram, because there's actually an event from BISA if you are running a startup. And with that, please take care of yourself, everyone. We are now going to be reaching the end of the year. So have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.